All right, so this is when everything starts to come together. I found this bearing in the components library. Oh no, this is the, yeah, search the warehouse. It's specifically called 608 bearing. It's a very common bearing used in skateboards. And this is the one that we're going to be using for our fidget spinner. So this is the actual size dimensions. So I was a little bit off in my dimensions in class. They're actually 22 millimeters from side to side, 22. So that's one dimension that we'll need to keep in mind. The other one is the top to bottom. That's 7 millimeters. And then the inside here is 8 millimeters. So those are the measurements we need to keep in mind when we do the next part. So first thing I want to do is, since it's 22 across, I need to create some space in here for that bearing to sit. So I'm going to choose at this point right here, and I'm just drawing a guideline out. So I need this to be half of 22, so it needs to be 11 millimeters. Enter. So I need to make a circle 11 millimeters. Before I do anything, this is still surfaces. So there's a top and a bottom, and then there's this shell on the outside, and then there's also this on the inside. So that's a circle. You can see it here. There's a cylinder on the inside. So those together, if they're melded together, would create a solid. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to select all those items. So I'm going to have this one selected. Shift, select this one, and this one. Right click, make component. This is going to be the body. So now you can see this is a solid component. So I just converted it from surfaces to a solid by making it a component. Okay, now I can make my circle. So what I want to do here is create a circle that starts right here, goes all the way to the edge, so it's 11 millimeters. And I need to make one on the other side as well. And what I want to do is make these solids. And I want to create a recess so that I can fit a bearing inside. And we know the distance from here to here is 7 millimeters. So I'm going to push-pull this 7 millimeters this way. So inside. So I know it's way out there right now, but I'm just going to specify 7 millimeters by typing 7, enter. Now I'm going to do that the same to this one here. Go 7, enter. Now you can't see it because they're inside there. So I'm going to change my view to be X-ray. Click here, go to default styles, and choose X-ray. So I can see through. So now what I'm going to do is move this thing out of the way for a second. I'm going to click this, move it out of the way. Specific distance along the red. Let's go 50. All right, now I want to make these solids. All right, so now what we need to do is make sure that these things become solids. These dealies. So right now, if I select one and look at the entity info, these are all separate faces. And I need this to be a solid. So I'm going to select all the faces. So I have that one selected already. Hold the shift key down, select that one, and select the outside. So all of that's selected now. I want to make this a component. Doesn't really matter the name. And then this one, when I modeled it, had a hole in it because there was a surface there. So it assumed I wanted to have a hole there, which isn't going to be a problem because there's a hole in the actual body. So this one I just need to remember to select that inside part as well. So I'm going to click here, select this face, select this face, and I need to select the inside cylinder. That's a line. Okay. I might need to just make this one over again. I have all these different sections here, which aren't going to really matter. They're going to bother me, so I'm going to go ahead and select these. And deselect that guy. Delete these. Alright, so I need a circle from here, and it needs to be 11. Push pull this thing. And it's be 7. Right now it'll be much easier to make this a solid. Click that, add that to the selection, and that, right click, make component. So now I have a solid component there and a solid component there. Now I need to move this body back into position. So I moved it 50 earlier, so I just need to type 50, enter. So now this is back in place, and I need to subtract these guys from the body. So I'm going to go ahead and use the subtract. Select this guy first. Select that from this. So now to remove that. Then I want to do that again on the other side. Subtract this solid from this body. So now I've created a space for this bearing to fit in there. So let's see if I can get that in there. So I'm going to rotate this thing. Just grab it. There. Let's just grab it there. We go 90 degrees. Whoops, I didn't go 90. Okay, let's see if I can find a center point here. Ah, there's a center. So I want this center point. There it is, center. Okay, there we go. I want to snap it right here. So now you can see that's how those things are going to go together. So this is the bearing that I will give you in class, and it's going to fit right inside your body there. There'll be one on the other side as well. Let's go ahead and view this in normal view. So we plunk another one in there. All right, so the last thing we need to do, actually there's a few things still we need to do. So we need to duplicate this on the other side. So what I'm going to do is make these two, actually I'm going to join these two together because they're going to become one solid entity. So that is a different solid editing. So we want to do outer shell, I think, is probably the better of the two. And make sure that all the empty space is filled in. So outer shell, I already had something selected. I don't want to do that. Outer shell, this 1 and 2. 1 and 2. There we go. So those two are now one solid. Look at the entity info. It is a solid group. So anything that's a solid group can be printed. So now I have this as one solid piece. I need to duplicate it, and then we'll make this whole thing a solid. So what I want to do is I'm going to use this reference line as a snapping point. It's very important. So when I copy this, I'm actually going to copy the solid and an additional line that I can use to snap. So I'm going to select this thing, and let's use this straight line right here. I'm going to copy these things. Doesn't matter where I copy it to. Whoops, I thought I was copying. Control, copy. There we go, now I'm copying. And let's just place it anywhere. Now I need to flip this. So I'm going to use the select tool, right click, flip along. I'm just going to guess the red. Oh, that was a good guess. So if it moved the wrong way, you need to use the opposite color. So I got the result I wanted in one try. Now I'm going to move this back. So I'm going to grab it right here. This is why I copied that little line, so I can line these two up perfectly. So I did the end point of the line there. I'm going to click it to the end point here. So now I have two in place. And let's see, this is a solid, got a solid, this is a solid, and this is a solid. And I want all of this to print together. It's going to be all one piece. So I need to combine all three of these together. So that's this outer shell. Actually, let's use union. They're very similar. One allows you to keep empty spaces in the middle. Let's just do outer shell. Okay, so click on this one, click on this one. Now that is all one solid. I want to make another solid by clicking on, this one's already selected, so this will be number 2. Let's see if that worked. No. Let's try that again. Let's not select anything yet. Let's click this. 1, and then it says this is not a solid, but it is. Okay, let's go back. Curious. Okay, let's try the other option. Let's try this one, union. Combine that and that. So we got a solid group. Does it say not a solid? It says a group. Okay. All right, I'm going to try to do some investigative work to see why these are not combining as a solid. So I'm going to click this one. And it says solid group 2 in model. So that could be an issue because these are technically the same component. So let's just try the outer shell again and click on that. Okay, so now this says it's a group, but not a solid. Interesting. Let's undo that. Let's try this one. Still says a group. Oh, I know exactly why. Okay, so this is a solid group. So I want to edit this, and I think this might be a component inside a component issue. So I'm going to go ahead and explode it and see what we have. So no, that's not what I wanted. Solid group, and we have a solid group. Just trying to see what this might be. And they're definitely intersecting. Let's see if there might be something included in one of these. Solid group, solid group. All right, so what I want to try to do is make a, so that's not a component. It says 2 in model. Where's the other one? Let's edit group. Let me make an edit, see what happens. So it only changes one, it looks like. So they're not connected. I'm wondering if it's these lines inside here. I don't think that would cause it. I'm going to pause again, see if I can figure it out. All right, so finally I figured this out. I have no idea why this is the case, but there is a solid inspection tool down here. And when I clicked on a solid, it showed short edges. And I have no idea what that means or why that would be an issue. But I decided, well, why not just scale this up if those edges are too small or whatever. Let's just scale this thing up. So I'm going to go ahead and select all 3 of these. And then I want to scale I'm going to go grab a uniform scale corner and then go 10 times as big. Oh wow, look at that. There's some stuff left over. Huh. That's strange. That's probably what the issue was. Okay, anyway, so now that we know that, I'm going to go ahead and escape out of this and try to delete this stuff. Alright, so hopefully that won't be there again. And now we're going to try to combine these. So one. Okay, now let's see what we got here. It says it's a solid group. Let me scroll to the top. Select this. Solid group. So now I can print this. Awesome. So now I want to scale it back down, see what happens. And we want 0.1. Let's see if it's still a solid. Solid group. Awesome. So now I can print this thing here. I removed the little hole in the center because I thought maybe that was part of the problem. But you don't need that hole anyway. So there you go.